Hungary and Romania are two countries in Europe. This is Hungary and this is Romania. Both countries are part of the European Union and NATO and are now mostly cooperative. However, deep inside, the relations are very complicated and some still don't like each other. But before that, let's describe both countries first, shall we? Hungary is a landlocked country in Central Europe surrounded by 7 countries, including Romania. Its capital is Budapest, and its language is Hungarian, a Uralic language related to Finnish and Estonian, which is not Indo-European. It has over 9 million people, sadly declining but trying hard to go up, in which almost 1 out of 5 people live in Budapest. Much of the population adheres to Catholic faith. Geographically, it is located in the Pannonian Basin, in which it is surrounded by mountain ranges, making it generally flat. And of course, the famous Franz Liszt and Erno Rubik are Hungarians. Romania, on the other hand, is a country located at the crossroads of Central, Eastern, and Southeastern Europe. It borders 5 countries, including Hungary. It also borders the Black Sea to the east. And this is also where the mighty Danube River discharges. Its capital is Bucharest, and do not ever confuse Budapest with Bucharest. We'll explain it later. Its language is Romanian, a Latin-derived language, making it related to Italian, French, etc. It has 19 million people, also sadly declining. Much of the population adheres to Orthodox faith. Geographically, the Carpathian Mountains chain span across the country, dividing it into 3 historical regions: Wallachia, Moldavia, and Transylvania. Romania is famous for Dracula, Dacia cars, and some more. Let's talk about their capitals. It is really important to know their distinction, or else you'll end up committing the same mistakes as Michael Jackson did in 1992. First of all, Bucharest is indeed not Hungarian, and Budapest is indeed not Romanian. Budapest is divided by the Danube into 2, Buda and Pest. Buda is on the left side of the river and also holds the Buda Castle, hence the name. Generally, it is more hilly and most historical. Pest, on the other hand, is located on the other side, which holds the Parliament building and is more modern compared to Buda. Meanwhile, in Bucharest, the city is the capital of the Principality of Wallachia since 1659 and has served as an integral capital of Romania. The name Bucharest means City of Joy in Romanian from the word stem Bucuri, meaning joy. The city is situated on the banks of the Dâmbovița River, which flows into the Argeș River, a tributary of the Danube. It is known in the past as Little Paris due to its charming beauty. Today, the city is a mix of classical, modern, and communist architecture. Romania and Hungary today have bilateral relations and are very close in terms of business and economy, working together as both EU members. However, historical relations are really complicated, and even today, these historical issues are still present and affecting bilateral ties. It all goes down to this region now part of Romania, Transylvania, which many Hungarians believe that it should be a rightful part of their territory, or at least autonomy. But Hungary-Romania relations go way back a long time ago. Back then in antiquity, the Roman Empire was really huge and controlled parts of today's Romania, called Dacia. The Latin language later evolved into Vulgar Latin in the area and became ancestors of today's Romanian language. The Roman Empire also conquered Pannonia, located mostly in western Hungary. By the Middle Ages, some Slavic tribes entered the Balkans and isolated the Roman-speaking population from the rest of the Romance world. Also, by the time, the Huns conquered vast lands, including today's Hungary, although they aren't really related. They had contacts with Proto-Hungarians and pushed them off to Siberia. The Magyars would later wander westward and cross the Carpathian Mountains and settle in the Carpathian Basin with the help of a certain Arpad. Then drove off the Bulgarians. At the time, it controlled much of the Balkans and had a massive empire. Hungary would become a massive Christian kingdom in the Carpathian Basin, controlling all of Transylvania. The rest of today's Romania were under a series of Turkic and Mongol rule until two new principalities, Moldavia and Wallachia, were born in the 1300s, which had been under Hungarian influence after the Mongols fell. The Ottoman Turks later came and screwed the Hungarians, forcing it to be pushed westward, where it would seek the Austrian Habsburgs for help. Wallachia and Moldavia later became vassal states of the Ottomans, in which it would stay independent in its internal policies, but it should pay tributes and grant concessions to the empire. Later, the Principality of Transylvania was born, and also a vassal state but dominated by Hungarians. Fast forward to the 19th century, the United Principalities of Moldavia and Wallachia are now independent, and then joined to become the Kingdom of Romania. And Transylvania is now to be part of Hungary, which is under a dual monarchy with Austria. There is a significant Romanian population in Transylvania, which is subject to Magyarization, and hence they wanted to join Romania. During World War I, Romania joined the Allies in 1916 in order to unite all the Romanian-speaking population, particularly in Transylvania, and was later subdued by the Central Powers, capturing Bucharest. When World War I ended, fighting did not stop in Romania, and it later proceeded to Transylvania, hence beginning the Hungarian-Romanian War. Austria-Hungary is on the losing side of World War I, and Romania took it as an opportunity to reunite with the Romanians living in Transylvania, and so they did on December 1. Hungary is kinda getting revolutionary and became a communist Soviet republic under Bela Kun, and began to attack Romanian positions. However, Romania is gradually advancing deep into Hungary, and later Budapest was captured and occupied by Romanian forces, stopping the communist government. A certain Admiral Miklos Horthy rose to power during the Romanian occupation, and the Romanians left Hungary proper after the Allies told to do so. In 1920, if you are Hungarian, perhaps you will consider this year as the worst year in Hungarian history, because the Treaty of Trianon gave Romania full control of Transylvania. Remember, for a long time, Transylvania was a long part of Hungary, hence many who live there are ethnically Hungarian, particularly the Székely land, and of course, Hungarians wanted Transylvania back. This resulted to ethnic tensions, but it didn't really spring significantly until World War II. When Romania ceded some of its territory, particularly Bukovina and Bessarabia, to the USSR, Hungary now wanted to solve the Transylvanian question and wanted it all. Romania said no, and relations broke down. Romania didn't really want to lose more territory, and also didn't really want to fight the Hungarians. As a compromise, Romania offered Hungary to have northern Transylvania, which has smaller Hungarians, but the transfer isn't so easy. There is already a huge Romanian population living there, in which the Hungarians are ready to deport. Hence, ethnic clashes. The Romanians did the same to Hungarians in southern Transylvania, but nevertheless, they are both actually allied against the USSR and fought them together. When it became clear that the USSR will win, Romania actually turned against the Axis, and of course, it also turned against Hungary. Hungary's borders were reset to the Trianon ones, and Romania regained northern Transylvania after the war, in which Hungary isn't exactly delighted, but its tensions are silenced now since Father Soviet Union made both countries puppet states. In the recent years, relations are improving between both countries. Hungary supported Romania's bid to join the EU. Both countries are also signing bilateral treaties for mutual understanding and diplomatic cooperation. Business is also crucial between both countries. Hungary ranks as the third trade partner of Romania, after Germany and Italy. Cross-border cooperation initiatives are also being carried out with the support of the EU. Romania, though, is not part of the Schengen area, while Hungary is. The one issue that affects the current bilateral ties between both countries is the issue of Hungarian minority in Romania, which accounts for at least 6.1% of the population. Some areas, such as the Székely land, have Hungarians as majority, and the question for autonomy is carried out. During the communist years, there was indeed an autonomous region called the Magyar Autonomous Region, but it was put down under the Ceausescu regime in 1968. When the bilateral treaty was signed after the fall of communism, Hungary renounced all claims to Transylvania, in turn for Romania respecting the rights of Hungarian minorities living there. Of course, there are some nationalist Hungarians who still wanted it back, which are least likely to be friends with Romania. And here we are today. One can say that the ultra-nationalist Hungarians and ultra-nationalist Romanians will not get with each other. But, well, no one wants a conflict these days, and both should cooperate further for a better Europe, which is fortunately at least happening today compared 100 years ago. Both are very vibrant countries with so many beautiful sights to come across. Just never ever confuse Budapest and Bucharest, please. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.